Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy SBX coming to you live once again. I want to talk about the downfall and the ending of Toys R Us and why is it closing down. Now, I feel that it's very sad and it's kind of fucked up how a store that has been around since our childhood, since decades, since the 1940s to now, all of a sudden it's closing down because of the lack of sales that they're giving towards their customers. And also, this is a new day and age of this generation. Now, I want to talk about the times that I was a kid that I used to glorify Toys R Us, glorify the fact that this place was heaven for a child's eye. You know, I haven't shopped at a Toys R Us since God knows what. You know, I might stop through here and there, but not to shop for a toy or anything like that. But excuse the sound, folks, because you know, this is New York City. I don't know if any other city does this loud alarm shit, but excuse me for that sound. Anyways, I feel that when I was a kid, Toys R Us was something that I've always loved as a kid. You know, I remember during the weekends, rather if it's like a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, and you know, they have these people throwing out like the papers for shopping and stuff like that, like newspaper and things like that. And you know, once I saw in the bag and I see the little Toys R Us magazine, and if the flyer or whatever you want to call it, it was something that I had to pick. Fuck the grocery store, fuck the news. It was all about Toys R Us as a kid. So it was something that I kept looking and looking and looking at all the time. Like, man, I fantasize these toys like a pervy teenager looking at a Playboy magazine, and you're lusting at that ass like, damn, or the naked titties or whatever. But that's how I felt when I was a kid. It was just all those cool toys that I wanted to get, like the Power Rangers, the WWF toys. Back, you know, it was called WWF. Now I know it's called WWE. Of course, you know, guys know because y'all been watching my channel. And also, if you guys are wrestling fans, you already know what it is. So, like I said, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, fucking Power Rangers, WWF toys, Toy Story, and a lot of remote control cars, you know, toy trains. And for the girls out there, you know, the Barbie dolls and My Little Pony and, you know, stuff like these, you know, because I'm not a girl. I don't fucking play with the girls' toys. You know, if you're a guy, you know what you liked. You know, Toys R Us had everything that you always wanted, like games as well too. Like growing up in the '90s, it was all about PlayStation and Nintendo 64 and Sega. You know, and I used to get a fucking orgasm as a kid, fantasize all these damn toys. Like, oh shit, this is awesome. Oh man, I want these toys so bad. I want this toy, I want that toy. And then you gotta fucking get on your mom's nerves and showing your moms be like, hey mom, I want this, and I want that, and I want this, and I want that. And then you know, of course, parents, it's like, it depends on how they will, you know, handle the situation. What would they do? You know, if they spoil the shit out of you, they say, okay, you gonna get it. Or if you got like real strict budget parents, they gonna say some shit like, wait until your birthday or wait until Christmas. But if you're black, be like, you got some Toys R Us money? You know, shit like that. So pretty much with me, it was all the above with me growing up. Like, you know, I'll get it when I get it. You know, I remember when I was fucking in kindergarten, I remember I came home from school, I asked my mom, hey mom, can we go to Toys R Us and get some toys, my mom was in front, and my mom said, "All right, let's go." My mom did not hesitate. So I feel like that was one of the best days in my life. I had some Power Ranger toys, and I don't even remember. I know I had a Power Ranger toy, and some other shit. Oh yeah, something from like some DC, like Superman, and I think I had a Spider-Man toy. And I remember my either my 9th or my 10th birthday. It gotta be my 10th birthday, because when you're 10 years old, shit about to get lit. When I was 10 years old, boy, it was the best day of my life. I think that was the last time that I ever had a great experience shopping at Toys R Us, because I remember my mom and my grandma, we all went to Toys R Us, and they bought me a fucking WCW toy. I think it was mostly wrestling toys, I believe. It was wrestling, and they got me the SmackDown game and the WCW Mayhem. That I do remember for sure. But I don't remember other toys that I have thus far, but I do remember it was related to wrestling. So that was the best time of my freaking life. So now when you're in your 20s, it's like, who the fuck go to Toys R Us? I mean, unless you like to collect action figures and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with people doing that, but I don't go to Toys R Us to collect action figures. There's GameStop, there's Amazon, there's eBay, stuff like that. Because I like I said, I don't play with toys, but I don't mind collecting action figures, because I got some fucking action figures for myself. But when you're at a certain age, it's like, fuck playing with toys. It's all about collecting action figures and playing video games, because the video game's pretty much our virtual toy compared to just a regular toy, But back to the whole concept of Toys R Us closing down. Now, I can understand why they overpricing their toys, because they're trying to clean their ass up on debt, and unfortunately, it's not looking too well, and it hurts me, and also for the children out there, because I know they were crying and bitching and complaining, like, Toys R Us is closing down. I would be too if I was them. Shit, if they closed that shit down in 1995 or early 2000, nigga, I would be crying too. Shit. But to me, it's really all the difference between the values of what the toys we had compared to what we had as a kid and now. Don't get me wrong, like, they got some sweet toys in this generation, like the Star Wars Legos and stuff like this, but shit, our shit was even more better. We had fucking like I said, certain action figure toys from superheroes, wrestling, cartoons, movies, like the Disney movies and stuff like that. We do have Legos, Connects. That was my shit back in those days. Some Connects. Fucking PlayStation, Nintendo games. Remote control cars, the Nerds, Super Soakers, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Those were the best toys, and they still are the best toys to this day and age. But nowadays, not a lot of kids will play with the Super Soakers or play too much of the remote control cars. Hell, I remember, those were the days, man. Them remote control cars, the big monster trucks. Those were the shit. Those were the days. Even adults will play this shit. The little helicopters thing too. Those were making a lot of money. But my point, what I'm trying to say though, is that the new generation of kids will not experience the fun that we had growing up as kids. Like, for example, if I ever reconsider having children, And all of a sudden, they want to know how our childhood was like, and perhaps, you wonder what's their future's going to be like when they're kids, because sometimes these kids nowadays only care for like their tablets and games. I mean, there's nothing wrong with tablets and games, but if you're too hooked on it, then yeah, there's going to be a problem. Some kids don't really adapt to going outside and play and interact with their toys, interact with their friends with doing that much of that. That's what I see today's kids. There's barely any of that. I don't see kids playing with their toys or action figures. They're so glued on their iPhones, their tablets. That's the new generation of kids. It's just those things. Unless you're a baby, that's the best thing you do is for babies, just play with little baby toys. And like I said, the future kids are not going to really experience a full great childhood like we had growing up as a kid. Rather if you're born in the 1940s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and so on. Because those days were great days to play with toys, And I know like our parents and our grandparents, they experienced so much cool shit when they were kids, where they were playing like fucking teddy bears and toy soldiers and trains and shit like that. And now it's like the 90s, it's like 80s and 90s toys were off the chain, especially from my time, because I grew up in the 90s and the toys we had were fucking amazing. Nowadays they don't even play these things like we used to. Like, our toys were so creative and innovating that it's like, damn, we're so hooked. Nobody is never gonna know what's a Tamagotchi anymore. Nobody gonna know what's a fucking Beanie Baby or a fucking any other great inventions for kids. Because those things were the icons of toys. I mean, the only thing I can remember as a kid was playing with like wrestling toys, Power Rangers, Superman, Spider-Man, Pokemon, Digimon, and PlayStation 1 games. Everything else is like a blur. And better yet, everything else, when you grow up to be in your teens or your adolescence, it doesn't really apply to you anymore. Because once I hit to be my teens, it's like, fuck a Toys R Us. It's all about video games, Because, like I said, I got hooked on playing video games when I was like 9 years old or whatever. Because I never grew up having a game console when I was younger till I got to be 9 or 10 years old. I started to be a gamer. But it's like today's generation is all about just video games and anything that deals with technology. So question is, how can children of this generation and the next generation and the generation before that will ever have a good childhood or even interact with toys like we did? That's the fucked up part. And I understand that Toys R Us is dealing with a debt, and I feel bad for that. But it sucks that Toys R Us cannot stay for another 70 years, or at least be around like until 2089 or some shit like that. Hell, until I die, when I get to be an old man. So, maybe in the future there's going to be a better toy store. Or there's going to be some crazy shit that you might have a toy that is like a holograph or something like that. I don't know. But I know that when I get to be a certain age, there's going to be some new advanced shit that kids is going to be playing with. But right now, the closest that is like our virtual toys is playing a fucking video game. You know, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. You know, that's the only things that is really seeks the eyes of young children these days, and even teenagers and adolescents. But I know that it's sad, but they said sometimes in life, you gotta put away all your childish things. But for me, what about the kids in this generation in the future? You know, in the future, how are they gonna ever know any new toys that is gonna come out? How they're gonna have a good birthday? How they're gonna have a good Christmas? How are they gonna just get a toy just because of good behavior? You know, toys were like our everything as a kid, and it's also the same thing applies to certain kids too. So taking this away, it's like taking away our childhood and fucking it up in our ass. You know, that's what it really is. You know, you're taking away a lot of childhood dreams and nostalgia, history, and the future for kids. You know, it means everything. The fucking Jeffrey Giraffe, the icon of the Toys R Us, the rainbow letters, the shopping carts, the everything. You know, it means so much. If just because it's in debt and Toys R Us doesn't have any other ideas to make things work, it goes to show that this is the end of every kid's childhood. You know, it's okay to outgrow stuff, but let it stay for the next generation of kids. That's all I'm asking. So anyways though, folks, I'm done here. Please leave a comments on the comment section below what you think about this topic. How do you feel about this situation of Toys R Us? There should be any ways to make it open or keep continuing on making toys and selling toys or whatever the case may be. If you have any ideas, I would love for you guys to share it with me. Like, and you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. You dig? SPX wrapping this up. Thanks for watching. Peace out. And rest in peace to Toys R Us.